A gunshot echoed through the lobby. One of the most powerful men in America stumbled backward, clutching his head. The assassin looked for just a second, then ran, convinced the job was done. But moments later, the man everyone thought was dead slowly stood up. He looked at the blood on his hand, adjusted his hat, and walked away. That man was Frank Costello, a mafia boss so powerful that politicians feared him, judges respected him, and rival gangsters wanted him dead. Yet the most unbelievable part of his story isn't that he survived an assassination attempt. It's that he built one of the greatest criminal empires in American history, without becoming known as a ruthless killer. So how did a quiet immigrant become the real-life inspiration for the Godfather? And why did the Mafia call him the Prime Minister of the Underworld? Let's find out. Long before he became America's most influential mob boss, Frank Costello was simply Francesco Castiglia, a poor boy born in southern Italy. Like millions of immigrants chasing a better life, his family sailed to New York City, but the streets of East Harlem didn't offer many opportunities. Crime did. As a teenager, Costello joined neighborhood gangs. He fought, hustled, and learned how power worked in the city's dark underworld. But unlike most young gangsters, he noticed something important. The men who carried guns often died young. The men who gave orders lived much longer. That realization changed everything. Instead of trying to become the toughest gangster, Costello decided to become the smartest. It was a decision that would reshape organized crime forever. As Prohibition swept across America, Costello joined forces with two rising legends, Lucky Luciano and Meyer Lansky. While others focused on shootouts and street wars, Costello focused on relationships. He shook hands instead of pulling triggers. He remembered names. He made favors. And slowly, politicians, judges, police officers, and businessmen began answering his phone calls. Soon, people weren't just afraid of Frank Costello. They needed him. That's how he earned one of the most unusual nicknames in Mafia history: the Prime Minister of the Underworld. His greatest weapon wasn't a revolver. It was influence. His criminal empire stretched far beyond New York. Illegal gambling became his golden goose. Slot machines, betting operations, horse racing, money poured in faster than authorities could stop it. Some historians estimate his network generated millions of dollars every year. Yet despite leading one of the country's most powerful crime organizations, Costello rarely carried a gun. Think about that. A mafia boss who trusted conversations more than bullets. That alone made him different from nearly every other crime boss of his time. But his biggest surprise was still waiting. In 1951, the U.S. Senate launched the famous Kefauver hearings to expose organized crime. Millions of Americans turned on their televisions, eager to finally see the face of the mysterious Mafia king. Instead, they saw only his hands. Costello refused to let television cameras show his face. For hours, viewers watched nothing but his calm gestures as he answered difficult questions. Oddly enough, this made him even more mysterious. Years later, actor Marlon Brando studied recordings of those hearings while preparing to play Don Vito Corleone in The Godfather. Without Frank Costello, one of cinema's greatest characters might never have existed. Then came the day someone decided Costello had lived long enough. In 1957, gunman Vincent Gigante waited inside Costello's apartment building. As Costello entered the lobby, bang! The bullet struck his head, but instead of killing him, it only grazed his skull. Gigante fled, believing the assassination had succeeded. It hadn't. Costello survived. Even stranger. When police asked who shot him, Costello calmly claimed he couldn't identify the gunman. Many historians believe he knew exactly who was responsible. But in the Mafia, silence could be more powerful than revenge. After surviving death itself, Costello made a shocking decision. He stepped away from power. No bloody war. No public revenge. No dramatic last stand. He quietly retired while remaining one of the most respected figures in organized crime. That almost never happened in the Mafia. Most bosses were carried out in coffins. Frank Costello simply walked away. In 1973, after surviving gang wars, government investigations, prison, betrayal, and even an assassin's bullet, Frank Costello died peacefully of a heart attack at the age of 82. No shootout, no execution, no dramatic downfall. Just a quiet ending to one of the most extraordinary criminal careers in American history. His story proves something few people expected. The most dangerous man in the room isn't always the loudest. Sometimes, he's the one speaking softly while everyone else listens. If you enjoyed this story and want more, please subscribe.